Well, it was the end of the 3-game week for Ipswich Town, the end of a run of 7 games in 21 days. The Sheffield Wednesday voucher was cashed, and dare I say, a few other lucky vouchers were cashed in terms of some championship rivals as well. Welcome to Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. We are reflecting on Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich Town 2. Dave, as yesterday progressed, that felt a little bit like driving through a speed camera and then nothing landing on your doorstep this week, didn't it? A little bit, Dave.
It did. I mean, I think we all discovered Middlesbrough were 1 up. Obviously, they kicked off. That was one of the 12:30 games, wasn't it? And then I think just as we were about to walking down towards the turnstiles, really towards Hillsborough, we found out that Bristol City had got a late equaliser. Hell, by the way, what a header that was!
Coventry are losing, Dave. We could still mathematically catch them.
And Coventry were losing or 2-0 down and virtually lost as well. So the scene was set. The scene was getting set. Yeah.
And then Millwall also later in the day, Rich. But this all on the backdrop of the day before a suspension for Leif Davis, our rather hapless week in terms of things that might have gone your way, going the complete opposite way, right? When was that? That was on Friday.
Friday, I think.
Yeah.
Friday,
what was your reaction to that?
The afternoon.
I mean, they come in threes. I think that my dad used to tell me that when I used to phone up and say, oh, the car's broken and this has gone bust and this is, they come in threes, Rich. They come in threes. So hopefully, at least for the month of March, that's it for us, because the mood was kind of heavy for the week. And we talked about it on the pre-match show, having had the benefit of the Borough Charlton result, changing the mood somewhat after Stoke. But then you get the gut punch of Davis out for 3 matches, and then everyone starts sharing clips, and Mark Ashton gives a view on a really excellent Radio Suffolk interview, by the way, on Friday night. Shout out to Graham Mack, who did a fantastic job of pitching some really tricky questions, frankly, and fair play to Mark Ashton for answering them. But he was, didn't hide his opinion of that perspective. And then Kieran McKenna went even further yesterday, Ben, in his post-match, with a no comment answer to a question that suggested that maybe there's some karmic retribution from the PGMOL with the it's easy for me to say with the retrospective ban there. So I don't think we've heard the last of that situation, by the way. But yeah, it's been a funny week, hasn't it?
When you look at it, Dave, if you add up the entirety of the 3 games, so Coventry got 6 points, Middlesbrough got 4. We got 5. So we actually went through the week gaining a point on Borough. Remember, at the start of the week, I think when we recorded last week, Dave, Borough just spanked QPR 4-0 and we just drawn to Leicester. To be fair, Millwall got 6 points, so they took a point out of us. And we're obviously now coming up to this position, and we'll get to it later in the show, Dave, where Millwall come to us. Millwall then go to Borough, and then we host Borough in round 42. I also need to, I know I'm old man shouts at clouds here, Dave. Got to talk about our fixture list now that Southampton, it's utterly bonkers, that fixture
list. Shambolic, isn't it? It's just absolutely
But sorry, Dave, do you want to just are you seeing the narrative now? If I'm a Coventry fan, I'm sat there with my feet up going, well, these have all got to play each other. So, whatever we do now, just bimble along to the title. And are you seeing it like that?
Yeah, you would think yesterday for them was just a small bump in the road, really, wouldn't you? You would think, yeah, you're right. They'd be having a cigar, looking at these fixtures, smoking jacket on, thinking, they'll just let the others beat themselves up, and we'll pick up another maybe 3 or 4 wins perhaps, and that will do us.
Won't need that.
May not even need, quite right. 2 or 3 maybe might not even need that, but certainly bump in the road yesterday, and certainly. Well, we'll get on to that. Big result for Saints as well yesterday.
Yeah, it's looking like this is a big problem, Dave, as well. This is a battle between Wrexham and Southampton for 6th. You really don't want to finish third, do you?
Big game. I don't. You probably covering it. Big game. This. I mean, we might cover this later, but big game this coming midweek. Southampton Norwich, isn't it?
Ooh, and Wrexham Saints has just been budged to Tuesday the
Oh, I didn't see
7th.
that.
Rich,
Right.
that is one saving grace. I know everybody loves Easter, but we're obviously now not playing back to
Friday.
back over Easter. I'm sure you're about to turn around and say, I'd rather play back to back over Easter and then go midweek to end the season. But yeah, that is looking insane, isn't it now?
It is, but to your point, we've just proven that we can do it. I know we've come out of it. We're not unscathed in terms of suspensions, a few injury situations too. So it has taken a toll, but we have come through it. And apart from the Wrexham result, there's the penalties. You can debate them all you want. We probably should have won the games outright. We've actually done okay for this spell of games, and the squad, as we'll talk about, compared to I know Sheffield Wednesday are a bit of a hodgepodge, aren't they, in terms of the youngsters, the over 30s and the loanies and stuff like that. But we're bringing off players off our bench that teams in this run-in won't benefit from, and that's it all adds up. It does look kind of positive, and I'm away over Easter, so I'm quite happy to not have the bubble, frankly.
And don't forget, after these 3 games, we're the only team out of the top 4 unbeaten in that 3-game week.
Yeah, that's true, Dave. The only problem I've got is Rich has just lined it up
Grasping
and
at another
said,
straw.
and said we've done well, and we have. And look how bloody hard it was. You had the collapse at Wrexham. It's an absolute slog through that, and then you do just reach this kind of, I don't know, you're just running through the mud, and then you get those 2 draws, don't you? And that's with it going well, Dave, and they've got to do it all over again in April with the added bonus of Norwich Circus Week as well.
I mean, this clear week is just absolutely great, isn't it? It's absolutely great. This clear week up to the Millwall game. Hopefully, again, we'll get onto the perhaps injuries that perhaps came out of yesterday, but hopefully get a few more back out there.
Problem I've got though, Dave, as well, is this narrative that Southampton are not going to have anything to play for in between 45 and 46. I'm not buying that at all. I think they'll have something to play for, Dave, at that point.
Might be in the cup final, mate.
I'm just saying, I'd rather play them on Good Friday.
Of course, of course. Yeah, we tend to do well against Southampton over Easter, don't we?
Well, I think Paul's point here as well, that fabled final Tuesday of the season before the final day is worked for us well. Ooh. Barnsley, Coventry, is Southampton the next one.
I don't want to be a curmudgeon, but we hadn't played the 2 previous midweeks as well before those ones. And I know we were supposed to get to this later in the show, but it's 5 away games in 6 in April. But anyway, welcome to the longest intro in Blue Monday history. There, we're nearly 10 minutes up, and welcome to the show. Get involved in the comments if you're here. Get your views, and we'll try and put. Richard's normally doing this from on screen, so if there's fewer comments go up today, it's because he's concentrating on what he is saying, but. You will have a chance to put your questions to Richard and Dave in segment 4 as ever. Let's get to this one. You were both at this game yesterday, weren't you, chaps? Let me dive straight in with your Ipswich Town lineup, Dave, which we knew was going to be a little bit kind of sticky taped together, wasn't it? Walton in goal, Furlong, and there he is. Johnson at left back, Greaves and O'Shea is the centre back pair with Matasiwa and Neil in central midfield. Clark, Mimeti and Egerly with George Hurst up top. What are your thoughts on that? It's probably the most horrible selection you have to make, Sheffield Wednesday, this season, because you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, aren't you?
No, absolutely. And there was strong talk that Matasiwa might be injured as well, wasn't it? Certainly when he went off at Stoke. I know there were 1 or 2 rumblings saying, well, of course you can see the third goal. You take a Matasiwa off, but apparently, so we understand he was carrying some sort of injury, but he was
Seb. I'm going to put Seb's name in the.
Are you putting him in? Are you putting him up?
He went big on that in the pre-match show so much that he took him out of his predicted lineup, and I was going, well,
Whoa!
he won't be playing, and then suddenly there he is.
Yeah, and he was absolutely fit and firing as usual, wasn't he? I don't think too many people then were surprised to see Dan Neil alongside him there. It was clear that with the suspended Kipre that Greaves was going to come in at left back. But yeah, obviously also now with the suspended Davis Johnson. I've got to say Johnson, yeah, again, we'll get onto this, but missed that, obviously, that Davis left foot balance a little bit. But other than that, I thought we had a really perfectly adequate game. Yeah, no surprise to see Mehmeti in that sort of Nunes role. You know, obviously he's out now.
What's the latest on Nunes, Dave?
International break, isn't it, Rich? I think I saw
after the
international break. So yeah, Jack Clark left. Yeah, Wally Egley. Yeah, okay, again, but again, a little bit surprised we didn't see McAteer. They're not surprised they didn't see Burns start, but kind of surprised didn't see McAteer. And again, not figuring what's going on there. Didn't figure at all. And yeah, I mean, Hurst up front for Azon. That's a kind of usual rotation, I guess. So
you got to play a Hurst when you go to Hillsborough, haven't you?
There you go. Absolutely, yeah.
Anything to add on the Ipswich 11, Rich?
No, I don't think so. In terms of the rotation, again, just comparing the statures of the squad and also kind of highlighting our strength. You know, we're bringing in, it feels like a downgrade from Leif Davis. We love Leif. You're bringing in Ben Johnson with 60 odd Premier League appearances. Like, it's just nuts, isn't it? And Dan Neil's come in alongside Matasiwa. I think we'll talk about the substitution at halftime of Egley for Burns. But I agree with Dave that the McAteer situation, I think that was a really good opportunity for him. And actually, we were crying out for some pace in behind down that side and someone to hold the line. And then McKenna had to act, didn't he? And Hurst, I know you mentioned it there, but we're keeping a log, Seb and I, of Hurst against old clubs or in games where there is some history, and he's always flattered to deceive, I'm afraid. And so I was a little bit, I think Azon deserved to be benched for not such a great night in Stoke. Not that many had a good night in Stoke, but yeah, Hurst just on the big stages and those kind of moments.
Richard, can you not correct my podcaster host hyperbole, which has no actual factual backing behind it?
My counter position is just my eye test, which can be biased as well. Before we get too far as well, it's a Sheffield Wednesday. We need to shout out the guys at the Neeps End social club yesterday, who were Ben and Tom, who were hopefully super busy in a good way, but looked after a lot of town fans and in kind of deepest, darkest Sheffield, and also John, who are our VIP travel, who's got some opinions on our logo, by the way. If you want to make me feel warm and fuzzy about our podcast logo, John wasn't the biggest fan of that, so please let me know that it's not too bad.
I think half of it was a wind up, Rich, but I'm not
after the third hour, Dave.
After the third hour, now, John, good old John, absolutely quality as usual, brilliant.
Your Sheffield Wednesday 11, I'll throw to you, Rich. They're better when Piers Charles is there. He came back a couple of games ago. The a hell of a run, Liam Palmer. He's played nearly 400 games for them, I think.
It's 500 as of Tuesday.
500
as of Tuesday night. Yeah, against Watford.
Arteg Bio, Iorfa, remember him. Heskey, Thornton, Ingleson. I think they've got some handcuffs on that contract. That's one that Mr. Chansiri actually managed to get a good deal on, though. I thought they would have breached all of them start the season anyway, but what are you going to do? Adaramola down the left, excuse my pronunciation, for Sire. Jerry Yates, he's added a bit of threat up top, and Jamal Lowe. But as you sort of say, it's all free transfers. And let's be honest, there's been three teams at Sheffield Wednesday this season. There's been the team that started the season and then disappeared. There's been the cobbled team together to get up to the transfer window. And then there's kind of this team that's going to finish the season as well. Just making do, aren't they, Rich, really?
Yeah, and there is some quality scattered in there. You mentioned Jamal Lowe. Jerry Yates had 3 and 3 going into that one. A great cross from Fusera to get the assist Tuesday night. And they were minutes away from a second win of the season. But you need to, their fan base is big. We know that. There was good noise in there, good numbers, in spite of the hardship they've had there. And also, Ben, we talked about this pre-match too, that they haven't been rolled over by teams. No one's steamrolling them 4 or 5. And you think at this point, looking at the league table, they are a tough team to break down as we found out.
28 games. I'm just not having this.
Come on. But yeah,
all
they're
manage
not,
to say that after they play Wednesday.
they're not being
Like,
spanked, put it that way. But yeah, I
and
think
the
a lot
pattern
of
has been, Rich, as well, that they've got to minute 60, 65 in games and then just lost.
Yeah,
It's
you
been a squad
said that.
game, hasn't it?
and that was the only thing in my head when watching us toil away a little bit is when they make the subs, it will be a different situation, and that proved to be the case. But yeah, one change from the weekend, and Ior for coming back in. But yeah, Jaden Heskey playing, by the way, Emil's son, in the centre midfield there. So prepare to feel old.
Good genes.
Just quickly, just another point, a bit remiss of us talking about subs on our bench. Jaden Philligy.
Oh yeah.
Love to see that, Dave.
Yeah,
don't we? Hey?
do with a home game against Millwall coming up. Yeah, we do. Yeah, it was great to see. Great to see.
Yeah, in the battle of the championship wingers in that one. But we'll get to that game. Dave, I think you were there. Patience required as this one went into the first half.
It's more the same, wasn't it? A bit more the same of Stoke the other night, really. Patient, deliberate, bit turgid at times. Yeah, it was more the same. And of course, obviously we missed. And this is no disrespect to Johnson, who someone said in the chat. I thought he had a good night. Up with O'Shea is perhaps our best player on the day. But Egley had that. He was not interested in. He wasn't interested in showing his fullback, opening up his fullback and taking
did
him down
Wednesday
to
just sit in then, Dave?
Yeah, they did. They
sit
did
back?
sit in. Yeah, they sat in and were quite well organised. But yeah, it wasn't great, was it, Rich? It was pretty meh, really. Pity for
7 games in 21 days, Dave.
Oh, no, a good point. No, I guess that's a good point, Ben. But look at your play. I mean, there was one or two. Clark. It was a bit, again, in and out. Certainly first half, a little bit in and out. Not as bad as he was the other night by any stretch, but had a pretty good shot straight at Charles, who's obviously plenty of practice, more than adequate keeper. I think Neil had a left foot shot.
Neil from the edge is a decent one.
Yeah, that one.
Travelling.
Hit. Yeah.
Egley then spoons the rebound over from close in.
Oh, man. Yeah. Egley spoons one. And then, Furlong has one. Off the line. That was pretty much about it. I mean, they didn't have much. I think they had a pretty decent shot. Again, well gathered in by Walton, but yeah, a bit of a nothing first half, really, I'd say. Rich, wouldn't you?
Agreed. And I think that was it's worth saying, and I include myself in this, the away end was buoyant to start, because I think all of us had seen the scores coming in, as Dave mentioned, walking in. And I think all of us expected a reaction from the disappointment at the end of Stoke. And so we'd seen us have 20 minutes at the start of that second half. You did the watch long Tuesday night, man. We came out of the second half against Stoke. I know we didn't have anything to lose at that point, but just intensity, wave after wave of attack. And you kind of think, get the early goal. And
I've been praising Coventry for that this season, and we did exactly the same. Yeah,
and this is what we've been praying to see from this team all season, frankly, at least in a sustained fashion. And so I think all of us, after about 20 minutes, when that clearly wasn't going to be the case, it went a little bit flat. And again, I'm not going to give too much credit to Sheffield Wednesday, but they were compact, they were organised, and we were, as I say, we were either overplaying and picking a pass when we could have had a pinged a shot. And when we did eventually get the shot away, it didn't really do much bother for Charles. He was quite comfortable with it. But we were the better team. We were the team doing the most probing and trying to find the opening. It was just, as I say, it felt like turgid is probably maybe a bit of an overstretch, but yeah, it wasn't our best half of football, put it that way. But
no.
Yeah, certainly, nothing to be panicked
about.
Is
just a kind of framing issue of how you view this game? Because McKenna was very clear that he thought we would win it probably with the substitutes, and it was don't do anything. Like Watford missed a load of chances, let Yates in for the goal and nearly lost up there.
Yeah.
And was he almost admitting that, it wasn't going to be a good watch, and we would probably just win it on points like a boxer? Do you know what I mean? And it was never going to be fun for you guys in the away end.
No, it's kind of like Stoke, but they never really, unlike Stoke, they never really looked like. I never really felt. I know you get edgier the more the game goes 0-0, but they never really threatened at all. Really, Rich, did they? Not really. Perhaps got around the back maybe once.
A couple of mistakes by us, but they got in.
Yeah, nothing. Not
nothing.
You never really felt threat. Seriously, up till 75 minutes. I think we were all thinking about heading out. Oh, Christ, how are we going to explain this 0-0 draw? Do you know what I mean?
Especially given the other blooming results. Yeah.
Well, exactly. It was kind of one of those. It was just, very, very. I'd say very safe. Let's say, but let's not underestimate. Davis probably would have had a field day there yesterday. Absolutely, absolutely
would have made a big difference.
And oh god, and
Burns, a fully fit Burns on the right.
Absolutely right. So I think you have to factor that in as well.
Well, let's I'll flip to you then, Rich. We'll talk about the second half approach, and the plan was obviously to wear them down and win it from the bench. And we see Burns I'm going to throw 4 subs at you. You're probably going to want to talk about Egley going out rather than the next 3. But Burns comes in at half time, and then Taylor, Akpom, and Azon. That's just a flex, isn't it? And just extra legs. But talk to me about Egley going out at half time.
Yeah, McKenna's said post match that it was a tactical choice, and actually on the grounds of wanting someone who wants the ball in behind to chase onto it. It made total sense. Not that we were necessarily releasing the ball too much to Egley anyway, but maybe because we knew that he was going to stop back, cut in perhaps, and we needed someone to be running at the left back. And so for that reason, tactically it makes sense. But for Egley, it's just, he's had a really good moment, hasn't he? A couple of really good goals, important moments for us, but just still can't get to grips with the championship or life at Ipswich Town. It's obviously very tough for him, but the narrative is going to be he's been hauled off at half time. And honestly, I don't think it necessarily was that, but it doesn't help his cause, Ben.
And I think a little bit of fairness to him. I thought their left back might have been one of their better players, actually, that Adamarola. I thought he might have been one of their...
Adamarola.
Yeah, the in one. That's the
and
one.
He gets stuck
Motorola.
into Burns, doesn't he? And this in terms of there's not much difference to the first half, Ben. For me, we started okay again, but there's a moment on 60 where Burns and Adamarola have a scrap, and the referee books them both, and the crowd kind of gets into it, and we get a little bit not panicky, but we retreat a little bit, and so they have a moment but it's just balls across the box. There's not a huge amount of momentum or efforts for Walton to have to deal with, but it did kind of take us a bit of time to regroup. And then those subs that you mentioned came in and actually made a difference, particularly Chuba Akpom. I thought he was the pick for the second half for us.
Yeah.
Just
can I play devil's advocate a little bit, Dave? I'm going to invoke my Kevin Keegan card. I think Kevin Keegan's not been very well, so we obviously
all the best
don't like to hear that. But I always remember when England played Portugal when Keegan was the manager and they were 2-0 up. I think Scholes might have scored a couple or whatever. And then Figo and Rui Costa got going and we lost 3-2. And everyone said, this football is so thick, just kept going when they should have been pragmatic, been sensible. And is that not exactly what McKenna's done here to get to 0-0, play the squad game? And can we, if you flip invert that idea, can we not give him a lot of credit for that, Dave?
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's very much the crowd's reaction that I think we'd all expected to perhaps Sheffield Wednesday. We'd all expected to perhaps got an early goal and perhaps the narrative of the game maybe got a second goal sometime the second half, and the narrative of the game slightly different. It's not 0-0 for 75 minutes. But no, I get that, and you could see, and Seb and Rich said it on the preview show that it's been Sheffield Wednesday have been competing in quite a few games this season, but they just haven't got the squad depth. And at 65, 70 minutes,
10 times, Dave. So over 1 in 4 of their games, the opposition don't win. So. If you take that as a 25% chance, I know if you add the nuance of that not all teams are equal, but, it is still I know I poo-pooed Richard's idea about them, being tight games, the 28 losses or whatever, but there is still a chance you don't win the game, isn't there?
It is, but it's not just that game, is it? Look at our subs. I was really surprised the other night when I guess you take it for granted. It shows the strength of the squad that our subs have scored the most goals in the championship. When I think after yesterday it was 17, 18 now. And you could just see straight away it was just the strength and the drive that came on, especially someone mentioned, good shout for Taylor. I thought he did well yesterday. Just comes on a bit more direct, bit more drive. And Akpom, who came on also, who was very good.
I'm going to repeat myself, Dave. We've played the last 3 midweeks and travelled in 2 of them as well.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
fatigue must come into it. I know we talk about this massive and talented squad, but fatigue must come into it.
And mental fatigue as well, Dave.
Particularly
with the penalty situations, the Davis stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of
as much as anything. Stuff. But then unfortunately we see what minute that was? What minute
76 if it's Burns.
76, yeah. So just before the goal was that, just after the first goal, just before the first goal, wasn't it? I think. Burns limps off. Looks, he's not happy, is he? I mean, he'd obviously had that altercation with Adam Arola on the touchline. Don't think it was anything that came out of that, but he sort of limped off. You think, oh hello, and it looked. But apparently it's calf. So hopefully calf, you'd think, isn't too bad, but obviously that's gonna be scanned. So, and then we see Jaden Philogene trot on. So whether the plan was to give him what ultimately became 20 minutes or not, probably not. Perhaps he'd only got, I don't know, 5 or something. He was
definitely coming on if he travelled, Dave, isn't he?
Well, you'd think he'd get something in his legs, but yeah, perhaps slightly longer than he anticipated. But
and Dave, with this Southampton thing, there's only one game between now and April the 6th. So get him on the pitch now, yeah?
Yeah, firing, absolutely right. No, great to see him back.
Goals, Richard. Here comes the breakthrough. Was this more of a thank God for that rather than a hurrah, we've scored, yeah?
Yeah. I'm not sure I've celebrated a goal in this way so far this season.
An angry celebration. Who did an angry celebration? Mehmeti at Wrexham, didn't he? I love an angry goal celebration.
Yeah, it was more like, I was going to say a naughty word. But and worth noting that 2 minutes before this, Athon has played through. It's a lovely ball through for him. Does everything right, gets to the keeper.
Take.
Can do literally anything here. He can take it round the keeper, can drive it into either of the corners, and he prods it wide. And you're thinking, blimey, Hurst had not had a good game, hadn't really contributed much. Athon comes on, having had a bit of a crap Tuesday, frankly, as I said, has his one moment, does really well, and then you think, oh boy, here we go. But actually, it's a good move actually when the goal comes, and it's big credit for Johnson, perseverance there. He kind of takes the ball into the corner and has to cut back. Involves Greaves, I think he's played in by Akpom initially, and a couple of different phases of trying to get the ball into the box, gets it in there. And top marks to Athon here, because I think we have been critical, certainly I've been critical of when the ball lands in the penalty box, he's rarely in the right place at the right time. But he absolutely is. This one gets in front of his man and stabs it home at close range. Dave, is that a fair description of the finish?
I'd say a stab. Yeah, stabs it home 6 yards. It's good anticipation. I think Akpom has a go at the near post. Akpom has a good go out at the near post, and he anticipates well. Akpom misses. He anticipates well, and just sort of stabs it in from left foot 6 yards. Sort of dribbles it in the corner from 6 yards. Yeah, good anticipation, good striker's finish really, and fair play to him for standing up, because that was a horrendous miss 2 minutes before, wasn't it? Yep. Good grief. Yeah.
And then, Dave, I know we had lots of people in the comments saying could have done that in minute 15 or what have you. That game state, Dave, just, the clouds just lift, don't they? Because you can, if you want now, you can sit yourself and say, well, come on then, move off base and we'll score again.
Yeah, or just keep it, which we pretty much did, didn't we, really? But then, obviously, the bonus of a second goal, good from Clark, good trickery from Clark, obviously against tiring defenders. I think it's not a great challenge by who I said had quite a good game. He was out of position, that Adam Arola, on the edge of the box. He kind of rolls him quite easily. And I think he gets tripped up by Faziri, number 4, the fullback. Right's on the edge of the box. Right in front of us, and the ref blows, and it's kind of a delay from where I was, and I think, was he giving a free kick there? Because it was but no points. And when you look back, contact was inside the box, and
was he standing on his foot? Yeah.
No, he just trips him over. Basically,
kind of sweeps him, doesn't he? Yeah,
Clark's running past him, the foot's planted on the floor, and Clark goes over it. There's a great angle on Town TV, actually. It's definite pen. And it's one of those ones where when the action starts and outside and kind of comes into the penalty box a little bit and goes out again.
I think the ref gets it. He gets it right. I think, it's not debatable, really. And quality.
I'd still swap it for a penalty against Preston. I didn't want to. Sorry, I'm stirring the pot there, aren't I, Dave?
An
Sorry.
absolute quality. Jack Clark penalty, dispatches it right foot, top corner. Charles goes the right way, but it's
Goes the right way, doesn't he? And
absolute
he still can't save it.
quality penalty. Now, you ain't saving those. You're not saving those.
13 goals for the season, Richard. The season he had with Sunderland that got his move, he scored 15, and he was very much starting every game and having the ball passed to him at every possible opportunity there, which he's not doing here. I can't think how many. If you talk about Clark, I will tell you how many Vipotnik's got, but he's not far off Rich Clark.
And I also think, didn't we get to the bottom of his goal celebration as well on the chat today? Didn't we, Rich? Apparently,
yeah. I think that's
his partner's initials,
family
EM
initials. Yeah, I think. And the great thing about Clark is that he will continue to try stuff. I think he can be a bit more selfish, but in this team, as we're seeing with Anis Mehmeti, compared to when he first started, he's less likely to pull the trigger because he's going to look for that pass. And we know that's very much in tune with kind of McKenna's style of play. Clark just glides with the ball and he's confident, but I love it. He's quite happy to maraud across the pitch with the ball, and definitely just adds that extra bit of quality to us and is willing to try stuff when sometimes we are a bit safe. And what's more, just ice cold from the spot. Bloody hell, like how we've needed someone like Jack Clark over the years, kind of all the way back to Tommy Miller. I don't think there's anyone who strikes a dead ball from the spot better than Jack Clark.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I'm dreaming that last minute penalty at Wembley to see us through.
I thought you were going to talk about playoffs and penalty shootouts.
No,
my blood went cold when
he was
thought
absolutely
about that.
cold. He's a funny one, Clark, isn't he? Because he just looks. You know what these defenders know what he's going to do. He's going to drop his shoulder and he's going to drift inside. But he's so a bit sort of almost Waddle-like. Obviously different player. Waddle predominantly left foot, but just little drop of the shoulder, drifts inside, and defenders. Oh, okay, he's gone. Very, very, very. Yeah, I really enjoy watching him. Especially when you're right, Ben. When he's at it, or Rich, when he's at it just glides down. He's super player. Yeah, really enjoyed watching him this season.
Vipotnik's got 17, Hadji Wright's got 16, and Clark is tied with, fair play to Hull, Gelhart and McBurney have both got 13, which is pretty impressive from there. They've both had injuries as well, those two. Although, to be fair, Clark barely started for the first sort of few months of the season, didn't he? Got all his goals from the bench. Right. We said, Richard, that it's a difficult game to frame, so I realise it's a tricky one for you to sum up. Did we learn anything? Was it just get this done and get the 3 points? Did anyone come out with a big thumbs up? I think the thumbs down in the comments seems to be for Eggley, poor fella, down the right. Any what's your frame it however you see fit? What did you learn from this one?
I don't think the way I thought of this walking around the house before I came and joined on air. This is definitely this is a certain vintage for people. Shades of Neville Southall telling Michael Owen, "Well done, he's 13. We've beaten the worst team in the division. He's got a massive points deduction, and we've kind of ground the result out as I think a lot of us probably expected we'd have to, rather than rock up, win 4 or 5, score after 5 minutes, and it's just all of us would love that to have been the case, but that's not this season. That's not this team. So we've had pressure because of the results elsewhere. We've come through, got the result. I think there's a negative in respect of there's now a question mark over Wes Burns. There's a slight positive in terms of 15 minutes into Philogene, although he took a whack and didn't look particularly happy. So hopefully he's okay. But I just think at this point, Ben, in the season, it's like all of us kind of walked in and said, I take a grotty 1-0 today. And that's what we got, a grotty 2-0.
And then when you present it with one, it's like, oh, this is dull.
And now we're not happy. So fickle football fans, and I'm calling myself out on this.
Stated preferences and revealed preferences, Richard. They often don't line up, yeah?
Yeah, and lots of people saying, what is it, comparison the thief of joy or whatever it is. Like, got the job done. Everyone else dropped points around us. Like, be happy. The sun was shining. It was light at 6:30 when we were driving back. Like,
we said that.
When if we get this job done and get over the line, however it happens, we will not look back on this performance. We'll look back on the 3 points, then the clean sheet, having defended really poorly, as you mentioned on your roundup this morning, Ben.
I was as annoyed as David was after the Wrexham game, after that Stoke game. I think. I think there was a bit of distraction, Dave, after that. Richard says we were under pressure. I think there was a bit of distraction because of the penalty call at the end. That was a abhorrent defensive performance to start, wasn't it?
It was
absolutely atrocious.
As I said, honking, wasn't it? I think I said honking first half.
Do you want to just take the same question that Rich did there, Dave? What are your kind of takeaways from this
yesterday?
Kind of weird assignment? Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I thought the biggest takeaway was yesterday, and a shout out again. I mean, what a man, what a player. Azul Matasiwa, 17 games on 9 yellow cards.
Is that the end of the amnesty now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Furlong got through it as well, Dave, yesterday.
Yeah, and Furlong got through. But Matasiwa again, did he shirk it out? No. Unbelievable again. What an achievement. But yeah, look, it's that old cliche, Ben. You can only beat what's in front of you. And ultimately we did. And you're quite right, really. At this stage of the season, it doesn't really matter. All you really want to get out yesterday, all we wanted to get away yesterday was 3 points. As Rich said, Furlong as well. Furlong and Matasi are available for next Saturday. And yeah, well, hopefully a clean bill of health. Hopefully Burns isn't too bad.
Greaves, Dave, do you want to shout out Greaves?
Yeah, Greaves did well. He wasn't overly tested, but again, Greaves did well. Probably the best he's played at centre half, because he's had some horrors at centre half this season. I think most of his games has been when he's commentary away, Watford away. He's been really good in filling in for Burns on the left side. But no, he's perfectly good yesterday.
Good block on 70 though.
What a block that was on Yates, wasn't it? Yates got away. I forgot about that. Great block. So had another good game. But I thought for me, I mean, we could say. Yeah, you could say flipping Matasiwa every week, but O'Shea had a good game yesterday. And I've got to say, shout for Johnson at left back, I thought did well.
Johnson. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich 2. I'm sure more of that in the questions segment. We're going to talk about the rather nice set of results we got in the Championship round 38 after this message from our show partners at Atwells.
Blue Monday is brought to you in partnership with Atwells Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for property and business law. Whether you're buying a home, starting a business, or just need legal guidance, our dedicated team has got you covered. Trust our award-winning customer service team to handle your legal matters with care and expertise. Find out more at atwells.com or visit us at our offices in Ipswich, Colchester, London, and our new location in Woodbridge.
Thanks to the wonderful people at Atwells. Richard, do you want to take the plugs, mate?
Yeah, before I do that, I need to give huge credit to ITFC Women, who beat Durham today in the WSL2 midday kickoff. 2-1 victory there. The signings have come in, and David Wright has come in at the start of the year, and they're unbeaten in 2026. Massive victory, that one. A really, kind of a flip of the Sheffield Wednesday performance, in that they got the job done in the first half rather than the second. Had to hold on a little bit, but professional saw the job out, and now dragged Durham into the mix. There are now 4 teams in the kind of relegation danger zone. 4 teams on 14 points. Town of a game in hand, but looking really positive for hopefully to sustain that status. So we wish them all the very best. They've got Forest away next week, and obviously there's a game at Portman Road in the League 2 on the 28th. So please do get down to Portman Road and support the guys for that one.
Is that a winnable game, Rich? Forest, is that?
Yeah, I think all of them are, Dave, at the moment. I think that they've really strengthened well. A lot of quality now.
I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, bodes really well. And in terms of bits and pieces on the pod this week, I think we're going to give ourselves, like the players, a midweek off. But if you've got top tier, Adam will be back tomorrow, Monday. That is.
Haven't we got a suspension booked in for Tuesday to talk about on Wednesday?
We could try that. Maybe there's an appeal to talk about. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe we'll get Craig and Joe to do a ratings show or something like that. But no, I think we might have a midweek off for once, like the players. But yeah, Adam back tomorrow on top tier for Beyond the Scoreline. We'll try and find a different angle, perhaps, to the performance. So commend that to you. And then we're back in the normal routine for a really big game on Saturday against Millwall. Seb and I back for the pre-match live 8 p.m. Weekend preview with Henry and George on top tier Friday. And Joe will be back. If you're missing Joe, we've a bit of rotation. I think of me as the Egley to his Burns, and he'll be back next week to talk about the game after the fact.
You're getting a load of abuse in the comments then, Rich, if you're
I'm
eggly
happy to
today.
take
They're not abuse.
Happy to take it.
Constructive criticism. Yeah.
Sure.
Right. Championship round 38. Wrexham 2, Swansea 0. Nice old battle going between Wrexham and Southampton for 6th place. If you're a neutral, if you're potentially going to finish 3rd, less nice, I think. Middlesbrough 1, Bristol City 1 is just a big one. That is 4 home games without a win for Borough in the running, including 3 of them against Oxford, Leicester and Charlton, who are down the bottom. And Bristol City, who are fizzling and kind of heading towards the beach. I'm not opening the beach until the Easter weekend, but Bristol City will be there with their flip-flops pretty immediately, I think. So big bonus that one. Oxford 1, Charlton 1, Birmingham 1, Sheffield United 1. You can talk about the penalty in that game if you want. Leicester 1, QPR 3 makes our result against them a little bit more annoying, doesn't it? Millwall 1, Blackburn 2. I mean, wow, Millwall leading that game, going second onto 71 points, and Sturge gets sent off. And fair play to Blackburn. They threw the striker in, went for it, and he scored twice. They smelt blood, Rovers, and they got the win there after the red card. Norwich 2, Preston 0. Stoke 3, Watford 1. Signs of life at West Brom. Pompey Derby tomorrow night. Of course, we should mention Hull losing there. There is the chance that Hull get grouped in now with Wrexham and Southampton, and that they may end up finishing 6th. I can see the comments probably telling me, Ben, stop worrying about who's going to finish 6th. It's hopefully not going to be an issue. David, Middlesbrough feel to me like the team with the highest ceiling out of anybody in the league. I think I've seen them put out even better than Coventry. I think I've seen them put out the best performances, but I think we're a bit more, people call us boring and confusing. I think we're a bit more reliable. Middlesbrough could win 7 of their remaining 8 games or 2 of their remaining 8 games. And I don't know what they're going to do, Dave.
I mean, it seems like they experience sort of Riverside pressure at the moment, playing
Possibly.
at home pressure, seemingly. I mean, frankly, I don't know what I did see the shot count against Charlton, all the touches in the Charlton. Was it the record? Some 87 touches in Charlton's box.
They're top of the division for touches in the box.
It was absolutely obscene. And yesterday, you think you've steadied the ship. They score midway through the second half. We saw the goal. We saw the goal come in on the feed. And you think, yeah, they'll see that. They'll probably nick another one. Comfortable 2-0. Yeah, bounce back after the Charlton game. And then, I've got to say, I know I mentioned at the start, what a header. That Randall header was unbelievable. He launches him. It's like a comedy header, isn't it? Absolutely launches it like torpedo-like. And
they make a good noise when it hits his forehead, yeah.
Slapped it, and I reckon it made a noise in the neck as well. Flipping heck. And there's no comeback from that. That's like 96 minutes. You could see at the end there's boos. I mean, all right, maybe boos because the amount of time the ref played on. And of course, you see the coach afterwards basically saying Bristol City didn't really come here to play. They came to waste time and every opportunity where we've seen that before.
That's what we say every time we draw, Dave.
Right, and where does 7 minutes come from? Well, there it is. There is your 7 minutes, Unfortunately, it went against them. So, yeah, they are feeling some pressure at the moment, particularly at the Riverside, that's for sure. And next up, I did see they got next up. I knew they got
Blackburn.
Oh, sorry, Blackburn. One thing I did notice, Easter Monday, 6th of April, Wrexham, Southampton.
Yeah, and you said midweek as well, Wrexham play Watford. They've got an extra game. Rich, let's just get straight into these head-to-head business. So obviously the first one. Oh, sorry, MPR 26V. Thank you so much. Pretty much every week at about this time, MPRV gives us a nice
brilliant
chat, which is
very,
very kind.
Also did one last week after the show ended as well.
We did.
So thank you for last week. We missed it last week.
Sorry. What was I saying, Rich? Head-to-heads now, and we go to the first one, don't we, with us playing Millwall, and then Millwall have got to go to Middlesbrough, and then Middlesbrough have got to come to us. So it does really feel like, I know Hull fans have, the tears have been very real when they've not been included in the top 2 chat, but it does feel like those head-to-heads are going to decide it now, doesn't it?
It does, and as you mentioned, if you're Coventry, you're loving this, and I think the big question for us, we were listening to the post match on the way back, and Alex Matthews' perspective was that the games against Millwall and Borough will be more open at Portman Road, and that might suit us, a more open game than what we're used to, no low block. I'm not sure he's watched too much of Millwall under Alex Neil, but it is going to be really fascinating, and draws are probably of no use. I mean, especially if you're
Unless
the
you're
chasing
second.
back. Yeah, if you're Borough, happy days, and Borough would love a draw for us in Millwall next week, wouldn't they? And that's, it's really fascinating. I think we might need like a tracker or something for the Flagship every Sunday, because there's a lot of these head-to-heads. I mean, it's always the case at this end of the season. There's always some really tricky
Middlesbrough go
matchups.
to Wrexham in round 46.
Well, and then Wrexham have got Borough and Coventry their last 2 games, haven't they?
Well, and the other
apart
thing,
from the
Rich,
rearrangements, maybe.
well, we're not including Southampton in this right now. If Southampton get themselves into the top 6, obviously we play Southampton between round 45 and 40. So you could literally have a head-to-head in between the final 2 rounds of the season, which is absurd. Southampton, as Dave mentioned as well, also have to go to Wrexham, and that could reorder stuff. I know we've had questions about, let's be honest, the trend at the moment, Dave, is slightly downward for Hull. I know Hull have played head-to-heads recently. They've played ourselves and they've played Millwall, but then they went and beat Wrexham, didn't they?
Crazy. I've said it. I mean, Hull.
But Dave, the trend is down for them and up for both Wrexham and
that's not
so
good. That's not good at the moment. Just getting back briefly to Millwall. You see that red card getting rescinded?
If your view on Dogso, Dave, is can the player have a shot if he doesn't get fouled, an unchallenged shot, then it's a red card.
I think it's I don't think it's gets overturned. Having watched it for the 5th time,
I've seen it a couple of times. Discussion, Dave, with XG, where people babble on about the identity of the player, but that's not the point. The point is it's the opportunity, not the player who's having the opportunity. Yep. So, I mean, we've railed for years against people stop saying last man, because that's you can be the last man, but be and it's not an obvious goal scoring opportunity. The problem you get, Dave, is that the player gets brought down and people then freeze it with the player having fallen over and the cover player having taken another 3 steps. I think when you look at it and say, if the player had any kind of clear run, would he have had a shot?
He would have done. Yeah,
you can then have a debate as to whether a player should be taken out of the game for preventing that. Yeah. But I think that's a long-winded way of me saying I think they backed the referee on that one.
I think the bigger question is why Millwall didn't get a penalty down the other end.
Come on, Aziz.
Gets in and gets taken out, doesn't he? And it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from that. I mean, I think we'll see what happens with the red card. But Millwall have been fearsome of late, haven't they? And that's a setback. And you've talked about the head-to-head, Ben. There's a lot of teams still in relegation danger that appear to be like Oxford out of nowhere are getting points, aren't they? West Brom are beating Hull 3-0. We need to chuck those in the mix. I don't think our fixture list has too many of those in there, if I remember.
Well, Rich, we always get accused, Rich, every time at this point of the season. Everyone says, stop looking at the head-to-heads with the top 6, because at the moment, if you played Oxford away, it's probably equally as difficult as playing Hull, isn't it? So, you know, I know that argument gets a bit overblown, and people think they're very clever when they say it, but there is some truth to that. As
even
well,
Norwich,
just
as you say, Norwich. I wouldn't want to play.
Well, we've got to
play Norwich away.
Gonna have to, and. Norwich from Christmas Day now are the best. I think they've got like 33 points in 15 games. They're absolutely, if they'd started 5 games earlier, they'd definitely be a playoff side, wouldn't they? So
I think some of their fans still think they might be.
Well, the thing is, if they were to do what they've done for the last 8 games over their final games, they'll be close. So
will.
Well, but Dave, can you see any team, basically winning from December 25th all the way to the end of the season? You have to have a little.
They're probably, you're right. They're probably 3 games short, maybe 3 or 4 games short, aren't they? Yeah, I think so. Perhaps. I mean, as you said, a real point there will be Wednesday night at Southampton, won't it?
Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
By the way, Rich, on that rescinding thing, I've been wrong so many times when I've gone, they're going to back their referee there, because you would think if the decision's been made, it has to be an absolute clanger. And they apologised to us for the Stoke one as well. I never thought they'd apologise for that. But so I don't know. They might Sturridge might be playing for Millwall at the weekend. I would think they'd back their guys, but they.
I think he's quite a highly rated referee, if I remember right. I think he did a bit for Sky, actually, but that shouldn't change anything. But yeah, the apology from the PGMOL for our 2 penalties.
Well, remember, they're not the EFL, though, are they? Yeah, so maybe there's a little bit of virtue signalling there in terms of, we're your mates. Honestly, our refs are great, but yeah. Right, should we do some questions? Get your questions in. I'll try and star a few while we are going. Always helpful if you stick a question mark afterwards, and I will see them quick. In fact, our little bit of software here gives us a little. You seen that, Rich? Gives a little question mark symbol if there's a question goes in there. Dave Aid, can we appeal Davis' 3-match ban? I don't assume you can if it's been done on video evidence.
I'm not sure you can. No, I think it's been done.
Do you know anything about that, Rich?
I'm not. Well, probably not. But it feels like McKenna spoke about it quite a lot of length, and then changed when he spoke to the Brenner Woolley. He kind of went back a little bit. I think there's still evidence that we're expecting to see, but it feels cut and dry. The fact that he's missed the game already.
Yeah.
But I do think we'll expect to see the written explanation as to why the ban has been given. I don't think we've had that yet, and that's why we're a bit irate.
Well, they just send the explanation after 3 games is done, and they're all sorted.
Well, is it the hair pull? Is it the kick? Is it the, I don't know.
If it's a hair pull, it's not getting rescinded anyway, because that's bone. That's like pulling a shirt back, isn't it?
McKenna seemed to think that was someone else. So there's mistaken identity in there. But
I don't know. It's serious. That's serious foul play, though, and you'll definitely get 3 games for that, won't you?
Yeah.
So what was it? Alfie May got that for Huddersfield, didn't he, a few weeks ago? So I think it's something that they've been. They have their thing, the referees, every now and then. Oh, right, look at this. Every time this binary thing happens, someone pulls someone else's hair, it's a red card, and they get
just on very briefly on referees. We got a booking for delaying a throw-in yesterday on Saturday. Ben, you'll be pleased to hear.
Book it. We did.
Booking for Wednesday. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say something,
and then we did exactly. Furlong did exactly the same and didn't. So,
oh dear,
I'm
just thinking about Milan van Eyck, but there you go. Richard, do you want to get our game in hand out of the way and see where we are, rather than worry, hope of how many points we'll get from the game? We're not going to get a choice, Michael, but this. Let me just talk about this fixture congestion, Rich. Let me just lay it out if you guys haven't looked at it. So the final run now. And this is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Monday, 6th, Birmingham home. Saturday, so that's not a full week, Norwich. Midweek, Tuesday, Pompey away. Weekend, Borough at home. Midweek, Charlton away. Weekend, West Brom away. So 3 aways in a row again. It's just a joke, this, isn't it? And then Southampton away, Tuesday. And then on the Saturday. So basically, what I was saying, imagine we would have played Pompey. This is basically that, just weekend, midweek, weekend, midweek, weekend, like in the COVID season, Rich.
Yeah. And to answer the question, I think perhaps if you're McKenna, there's a helpful motivator in the fact that you've got a game to catch up with everybody. So if you have a blip like we did on Saturday and Tuesday, you can kind of say, well, there's another game to play, guys, and there will be results elsewhere that will be crazy and, will give us an opportunity here. So maybe the possibility of a situation down the line by having a game to catch up might be helpful for that. But as I say, as you kind of point out, Ben, here, I think it's just the fact it's a slog doesn't really change anything. We've got to play a shed load of games. There'll be pointy chaos and for not just us, for quite a lot of the teams.
And Dave, I just don't buy this thing. And I think it's cope from opposition fans. I just don't buy this thing that, a big squad can cope with playing every midweek. That's a bit like saying Tyson Fury is 6'8", so he should be able to take an unlimited amount of punches and not fall over just because he's big. It's still really hard, isn't it?
It does take its toll. And Rich hit the nail on the head earlier when he said it's not just physically, it's mentally as well. It's tough. It is. We know the Championship is an absolute slogfest, and
and you can rotate the squad, Dave. The manager has got to do every single one of those.
No, absolutely.
And he might even be the key guy.
Absolutely right. But, fortunately, we have been there before. So, he's got the experience with being there before. Okay, not this squad, but you'd hope with his experience and his assistant's experience, it will be enough to see us over the line. But it's going to be so tough.
Sorry to interrupt you, Dave. That is experience that not a lot of other teams in the top six, maybe Wrexham are the only ones who know to hunt something down.
New team, though. New to the club have got experience, Rich. But
Parky. I mean,
Alex Neil, maybe not from experience.
Parachute team in Norwich.
They've missed out, haven't they, Millwall? That's their history, So that might count for a little bit. Who knows?
Yep. Hope so. David, if we get promoted, how does your confidence of this team in the Premier League compare with your confidence in our League One heroes at the beginning? It's such a different apples and oranges comparison, isn't it? With the expectations now, and you didn't even think about you just playing in the Premier League, did you?
No, you're just riding the wave. Even when that team took the first half against Liverpool, you sat back for, I think we'll be all right here. We'll be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. We can compete here.
We've got our Fleetwood and Accrington players here. We'll be fine.
Absolutely, we'll be absolutely fine. And then you realise sort of 7, 8, 9, 10 games in, you're not got a win under your belt, and it's a slog, and it's physically you're getting battered every week. It's so hard. That's just such a. All we do know, hopefully, if we do go up, yes, there'll be many changes in certainly the first 11, and just hope we follow perhaps Sunderland's example of, as we said, of big physical players that are ready for the rigors of the Premier League and what that brings with it.
I just wonder whether that trend in football tactics cycles is at its peak right now, and in 2 years' time we'll be on to something else tactically I don't know. It moves fast, and it feels like it's such an obvious thing now, Dave. The physicality that something goes the other way. Do you know what I mean?
You would know better than this. So, of the recent parachute teams, teams I would class as parachute teams in recent years. Let's take Norwich and West Brom, perhaps, as an example. Is that a good example? Maybe you can't use Burnley, but. Did Norwich or West Brom? I'm sure a few seasons back, Norwich got promoted and stayed up a season or so, didn't they? Maybe West Brom did as well.
Norwich didn't. No, they went
a bit longer than that, was it? Yeah.
It's weird because Forest did it, and they weren't a parachute team, and Sunderland weren't a parachute team either. They've been the ones. Looks like Leeds are going to do it. Leeds are going to do it this season. I
don't know about
that. Okay, fair comment. It's weird that the parachute teams do tend to bounce. I don't know if there's just some kind of tension, expensive players coming down, and maybe the thing with Sunderland, though, their FFP headroom was massive when they went up. It was bigger than Leeds because of that exact reason, because the wage bill was so much lower and stuff in the Championship.
All I think you were right. It's the club itself. Is that the club will be, if it happens, the club will be in a better position. Will know what to expect and what type of player we need. So that's the only thing.
We're recruiting the
recruitment must be we've got new recruitment staff in, obviously with one eye on new European, haven't we, head of European scouting, I think, obviously with one eye on what happens next. So you would think we'd be much better prepared.
100%. We've run a little bit long here, so last one, Rich, simple one here. Taylor or Neil on Saturday, and I will tell you, you're going to do this later in the week. Millwall lined up with one Billy Mitchell and one Barry Bannon starting in central midfield. That's who you're up against potentially. Maybe more injured. Yes.
More on that on Thursday night. Then I think I would go Neil to bring Taylor on. I like the intensity that Taylor brought us off the bench, so I'm going to go with that.
You need size against Millwall as well. Have fun previewing Kramer and Cooper when you look at their set plays, Seb.
I think I'd go Jens Kajust.
He's tall. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
for
big.
size, there you go. Right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody for your questions and whatnot in the chat. Final word from you, Dave, on Sheffield Wednesday 0, Ipswich 2, and a nice set of results elsewhere.
I'll just say that old advert, if Carlsberg did football Saturdays, it would be yesterday, wouldn't it? Pretty much.
100%. Rich, last word from you, mate.
Yeah, thanks for letting me join the big show. And Joe will be back here in my spot next week. Enjoy a midweek off because it's going to be a rarity in the next few weeks. So, yeah, thank you for joining in and enjoy some downtime on Tuesday, Wednesday.